Good morning. It's a beautiful Thursday morning at AYOGEN online television live from Ondo City. Bringing your breakfast news here is Makanjola Oluwatosinesta. Here are the headlines. On our breakfast today's news, terrorists who try to overthrow me are already in Nigeria, says the Turkey president. Lawyers demand Kanu's presence as trial resumes today, which is Thursday. On our political news this morning, Oshibajo urges youth to join politics to make a difference. Regarding the upcoming 23 general election, women deserve active positions in politics, says Efa Atu. On our business news this morning, NSAS claims of 20 billion naira probe delay payments. On our sport news, qualifiers done 2022 AWCON qualifiers Falcons beat Ghana 2-0 in yesterday at Lagos. In Ondo makes COVID-19 vaccine compulsory for civil servants. On our foreign news this morning, ex-Alitalia flight attendant strips off uniforms in protest. On our entertainment news this morning, NSAS fouls Uche Jumbo, other celebrities marks first anniversary. So full details coming up next. Terrorists who tried to overthrow me are already Nigerian, says the Turkey president. The president of Turkey, Recep Erdogan, says the terrorists who tried to remove him through a coup in 2016 are still active in Nigeria. Erdogan said this on Wednesday at a joint press conference with the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, on the occasion of his two-day official visit to the country. Recall that Erdogan had in 2016 accused allies of renowned cleric Fethullah Gulen, who owned Turkish schools and hospitals across Nigeria, of sponsoring the coup. Turkish envoy in Nigeria, Mr. Hakan Kakil, had at the time called on Buhari to close the Turkish schools and hospitals in Nigeria belonging to a group of Turkish private investors who were inspired by the philosophy of the Islamist movement. The Nigerian government had, however, rejected the proposal, causing tension between both countries. In what appears to be a reconciliatory move, Erdogan on Wednesday told Buhari that his administration would share intelligence with Nigerian authorities. He said, as Turkey, we have been closely monitoring the developments in Nigeria, our brotherly and friendly nation. The terrorist organizations, the armed gangs, and marine vendors are continuously fighting them. In order to cooperate further in the field of military operations, defense, and security, we are doing everything that will be available. We are ready to share our capabilities, every extending capacity as Turkey with Nigeria. Some of the pictures will be shown. Every extending capacity as Turkey with Nigeria, especially in the field of defense, industry, and security, which are being praised by the globe. The sensitivity which are being praised by the globe, the sensitivity represented by our Nigerian brothers and sisters are our counterparts. The perpetrators of the heinous failed coup of July 15 Fetu are still very active in Nigeria, and we are continually sharing our intelligence in Nigeria with Nigerian interlocutors and authorities. The Turkish president stated that he hoped to expand trade volume from the current $2 billion to $5 billion between Nigeria and his country. He said he was hopeful that the relations between Nigeria and Turkey will be further developed on the basis of a win-win situation and on the basis of mutual respect. In a speech, Buhari revealed that he signed 8 major agreements / memoranda of understanding on several key sectors, including energy, defense industry, mining, and hydrocarbons among them. This as he added that implementation of all 8 agreements will commence immediately. Lawyers demand Kanu's presence as trial resumes today. The legal team of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Namadi Kanu, on Wednesday warned that the federal government must bring him before Justice Binta Anyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Thursday today. The leader of the team, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, made the team's position known during a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday. That tomorrow will be today, being October 21, 2021, should be sacrosanct. Our client, Mazin Namadi Kanu, must and shall be produced in court to face his trial. Ejiofor said, according to him, despite the issuance of a flat by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Tosho, for Kanu's retrial will be held during the court's annual vacation. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation deliberately stayed away from court. The legal team of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Namadi Kanu, on Wednesday warned that the federal government must bring him before Justice Binta Nyako of a federal high court on Abuja on Thursday. The leader of the team, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, made the team's position known during the press conference in Abuja on Wednesday. Federation East was being observed because people are yet to see and believe that Namadi Kanu is still alive. Indigenous, he recalled that alleged arrest and detention of over 20 indigenes of Ebonyi State who had traveled to Abuja to witness Kalu's trial on July 26. Ejiofor appealed to security operatives to allow lawyers and journalists to attend IPOB's leader's trial on Thursday. The show of shame shamefully demonstrated by the overzealous security agent on July 26, 2021 should never repeat itself, he said. Ejiofor also told the IPOB supporters to remain civil and be of good conduct, adding that not everyone would be able to access the courtroom. He also described Kanu's arrest in Kenya on June 19, 2021, and appearance in Nigeria on June 29, 2021 as persecution. Last week, the federal government slammed on an amended 7-count charge against Kanu, while the FHC issued a hearing notice for Thursday. The notice titled Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Namadi Kanu, with suit number FHC ABJ CR 38315. Was served on Ejiofor and the prosecuting lawyer, Shuaibu Labaran. Kanu is being treated on charges of treasonable felony. The IPOB leader, who was granted bail in April 2017, fled the country after the invasion of his home in Afara Uku, near Umuahia, Abia State, by the military in September. A situation one of his lawyers, Aloy Ejimakwu, described as the rule of self-preservation. Nyako subsequently revoked his bail for ditching his trial and also ordered his trial to be separated from the rest of the co-defendants. While the trial of the rest of the co-defendants has made some progress, Kanu's case has been told since 2017 on June 29, 2021. The Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, announced that Kanu has been rearrested and extradited to Nigeria to continue facing his trial. He said the IPOB leader was intercepted days earlier but did not disclose which country and how the operation was carried out. Although there has been no official disclosure about where and how Kanu was arrested, relatives and lawyers of the IPOB leader have described how he was taken into custody in Kenya under controversial circumstances. On our political news this morning, Osinbajo urges youth of Nigerians to make a difference to come into politics. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo-San has urged youth to join politics to make a difference in the country. The VP stated this on Wednesday in Abuja at a virtual forum where he interacted with fellow Nigerian fellows of the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. Osinbajo spokesman Laolu Akande disclosed this in a statement titled, Osinbajo, whose young Nigeria are best mind, join politics to make the difference. His statement coincided with a day Nigerian youth took to the street in memorial of the NSAS product last October. The VP was quoted as saying youth need to go to the extra lengths. If you're not already involved, get involved in politics. While a lot can be achieved in civil society, government still holds the aids in terms of capacity and resources to bring social goods of pressure group at the table in policy formulation are hugely different positions. The consummation of our great ideas to transform our societies ultimately will depend on those politicians, as we sometimes deprivably describe them. Continue, the VP noted that African nations, and especially our country, cannot afford to have its best mind and most committed social activists remain only in the civil space. No, we simply can't afford it. You have to get involved in politics. You have to be in the position to make the difference on the scale that it is required. Regarding the upcoming general election in 2023, women deserve active positions in politics, says Professor Aita Atu. A People's Democratic Party aspirant for the position of National Women Leader, Professor Stella Efa Atu, has declared that the role of women in politics should go beyond singing, clapping, and voting during elections. She shared this shortly after submitting an expression of interest and nominations form at the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja on Tuesday. The academic turned politician explained that women have a lot more to give to the nation form in terms of quality service instead of figurative appointment. According to her, after several years of theorizing, she decided to also come to practicalize it and really get involved in getting women seriously involved in political participation. Efa Ato further said, if you look at the Nigerian political history, for over the years, most women have been involved in clapping and dancing, but we are saying we want our women to come out and participate effectively in politics, but not just by voting, but by actual involvement. On our business news this morning, insurance firms put #EndSARS claims at 20 billion naira, probe delays payments. Demand for civil commotion cover now rising, says insurance body. Insured individuals and firms that suffered losses from last year's public protest against police brutality, popularly known as #EndSARS, have filed over 20 billion naira claims with insurance companies, it has been learned. The development came as memorial protest of last October's #EndSARS crisis rocked Lagos and other parts of the country on Wednesday. The chairman, Nigerian Issuers Association, Mr. Ganiyu Musa, told our correspondent in an exclusive interview on Wednesday that investigations and documentations involved in the processing of the claims filed by the victims and their families were delaying the payment of some parts of the claims. On Monday, insurance companies under the aegis of the NIA disclosed that they have paid 9 billion naira in claims to customers who suffered losses during last year's #EndSARS protest. Musa, who is also the group managing director of Cornerstone Insurance Policy, said the outstanding claims will be paid as soon as necessary verifications and documentations were completed. Asked about the timeline when the necessary investigation and documentation will be completed and claims paid, the insurance body chairman said it was difficult to tell. He said a lot of the claims are still going through documentation, investigation, and the total that may be settled could be more than 20 billion naira, depending on documentation support. What has been notified is already more than 20 billion naira. What has been paid is 9 billion naira. We are still waiting for the other documentation of those that were notified. The total could be more than 20 billion naira by the time the full due dust settles, depending on the documentation support. That is why we can't say specifically, but based on what has been notified, it is already more than 20 billion naira. He, however, said insurance would be happier if people took advantage of insurance covers and ensured they were properly insured. According to him, the majority of the claims paid are from Lagos. Musa also disclosed that there had been an increase in demand for strike, riot, and civil commotion insurance covers in recent times, especially since last year when the EndSARS protest rocked the country. The NIA chairman said the total amount of losses incurred from the EndSARS protest has never been recorded in the history as far as SRCC cover was concerned. While there have been an increase in the demand for comment of exposure to the risk, many did not have the kind of insurance before, but losses can happen, so people need to have the cover. He said a one-year report unveiling the total losses and claims from the EndSARS protest was released by the insurance body on Tuesday. The report, which was obtained exclusively from the operators, revealed that the claims were paid on 3 dead persons and other property losses. According to the report, the insurance company settled claims on 718 cases of vandalization, 93 cases of looting, 113 cases of theft, and 136 cases of loss of cash. Further findings revealed that 99 claims were settled on malicious damage, 8 on business interruptions, 455 on burglary attacks, and 912 on fire and burnt sites. The Director General, NIA, Mrs. Yetunde Ilori, recalled how the #EndSARS crisis went from their mere protest to crisis of unprecedented dimension. She said what started as a protest about the state anti-robbery police until later snowballed into a crisis of unprecedented dimension with resultant loss of lives and property. We commiserate and sympathize with those who lost their loved ones during the crisis, as well as those whose businesses suffered one form of loss or the other. Following huge losses by businesses in the aftermath of the NSAS violence. The insurance industry, in line with the role of providing financial intermediation and restoring businesses, quickly moved in to provide the necessary caution for those that have insurance cover and others who have suffered losses to their businesses. It assured Nigerians that the local insurance industry will continue to live up to its mandate of supporting businesses by paying all genuine claims. Ilori called on individuals and corporate entities to imbibe in the culture of insuring lives and properties, and insurance exists to caution the harsh effect of uninformation. On our sport news this morning, Again, 2022 African World Cup Nations qualifiers, Falcons beat Ghana 2-0 in Lagos. Namadi Kanu scored a brace as the Super Falcons defeated Ghana 2-0 in the first leg of the 2022 African Women's Cup of Nations on Wednesday at the Mobolaji Johnson area, Onikan, Lagos. With Nigerian enjoying the bulk of possession, Kanu gave them the lead in the 22nd minute after a pass from Francisca Odega, which split open the Black Queen's defense. Kanu doubled the lead 4 minutes later, this time benefiting from a Tony Payne assist to head home. Both teams went into the halftime interval with the Falcons fully in control. The home team continued their dominance in the second half, but could not add to their tally. With the win, Falcons secured their 11th victory in 18 encounters against the fierce rivals ahead of the second leg at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. The winners of the tie will slug it out with the winners between Niger and Ivory Coast for a place in the 2022 AYOGEN in Morocco between July 2 and July 23, 2022. The AYOGEN serves as a qualifying tournament for the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. On our health news this morning, in Ondo State, COVID-19 vaccines compulsory for civil servants. The Ondo State government has vowed to enforce the no vaccination card, no access to its offices. Mr. Segun Odunsoya, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, disclosed this on Wednesday at a meeting with the staff of the ministry in Akure. He said the presentation of the COVID-19 vaccination card has become a compulsory requirement for civil servants as workers go to their workplaces from November 1. The directive would be enforced as from November 1 with compliance to all the COVID-19 protocols by the civil servants in the state. He said the enforcement has become imperative due to the ravaging effect of the pandemic and its amendment morbidity. Odunsoya said that the meeting was the fallout of an earlier meeting with the head of service who directed that any civil servants not vaccinated by November 1 would not be allowed into any state government office. According to him, enforcement is a means of protecting the staff because the pandemic, which is not yet over, has a more deadly variant, hence the need to be vaccinated and to obey the protocols. He also urged them to prioritize routine checks of blood pressures, blood sugar, and others, as certain diseases could be prevented by being careful. Odunsoya, who called for punctuality and seriousness at work, appealed for prudence with spending due to the prevailing economic situation in the country. On our foreign news this morning, ex-Italia flight attendants strips of uniforms in protest. Dozens of former flight attendants from defunct Italian airline Alitalia have stripped off their uniforms, wearing only other garments in protest in central Rome. Dozens of former flight attendants from defunct Italian airline Alitalia stripped off their uniforms on Wednesday, wearing only undergarments in a silent choreographed protest in central Rome. Long financially ailing, Italy's decades-old airline flew its last flight on October 14. A new airline, ITA, began flying the next day, using some of Alitalia's aircraft. It also bought the Alitalia brand, but it is taking on fewer than 3,000 of Alitalia's 10,000 employees. Union officials say those who will work for ITA are being hired at significantly lower pay scales. Some 50 former flight attendants stood in a rows in a square atop Rome's Capitoline Hill, lowered their company shoulder bags to the cobblestone pavement, then slowly and in cinch removed their overcoat, their uniform jacket, their skirt, then stepped out of their high-heeled shoes. They remained barefoot, wearing only a slip in silence for a few minutes. Then they carefully gathered up their garments and shoes, and together they shouted, "We are Alitalia." Union leaders have been pressing for the government to extend unemployment benefits for as long as 5 years. On entertainment news this morning, #EndSARS Falz Uche Jombo, other celebrities mark first anniversary. Nigerian celebrities have taken to social media, especially on the microblogging site Twitter, to make the first anniversary of the #EndSARS protest. A year ago, it was reported that #EndSARS protesters were shot at by personnel of the Nigerian Army at the Lekki toll gate, an action that led to the loss of lives. Marking the first anniversary of the #EndSARS protest, popular Nigerian musician and social crusader Folarin Falana, fondly referred to as Falz, tweeted 365 days ago, Nigerian citizens were shot and killed at the toll gate by our own military men. Today we honor them because they have sacrificed their very existence for a cause bigger than all of us. They live forever in our hearts. Also marking the first anniversary of the sad incident, ACE Nigerian actress Uche Jombo, via her verified Twitter account, wrote 20th October, a day in history. #EndSARS Memorial, #EndSARS, we'll never forget. Popular disc jockey DJ Kupi simply tweeted, "We'll never forget. Flag of Nigerian broken heart." #EndSARS Memorial, #End Police Brutality. Lazy Nigerian youths are changing Nigeria and sacrificing their own lives for generations to come. Sonorous singer Stems, while marking the sad occasion that occurred last year, tweeted, "The bullet, the blood and tears we will never forget." #EndSARS Memorial. And that will be that on our breakfast news this morning. We'll be right back. Do stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back. We're still on our breakfast news live here from AYOGEN online television. Highlight of our breakfast news this morning on our local news: terrorists who tried to overthrow me are in Nigeria, says Turkey president. Lawyers demand Kanu's presence at trial resumes today, which is Thursday. Political news this morning: Oshibajo urges youth of Nigerians to join politics to make a difference. Regarding the upcoming 2023 general election, women deserve active positions in politics, says Efa Atu. On our business news this morning, insurance firms put EndSARS claims at 20 billion naira probe delays payment. On our sport news this morning, 2022 African Women's Cup of Nations qualifiers, Falcons beat Ghana 2-0 in Lagos. On our health news this morning, Ondo makes COVID-19 vaccine compulsory for civil servants. On our foreign news this morning, ex-Alitalia flight attendants strip off uniforms in protest. On our entertainment news this morning, #EndSARS Falz Uche Jombo, other celebrities mark first anniversary. And that will be that on our breakfast news this morning. Thank you for watching. Continue to subscribe on our YouTube channel, AYOGEN Online Television. Follow us and like our page on Facebook and Instagram respectively. I am Makonjola Oluwatosinesta. We give you the latest updates, the latest news here on our breakfast news right at 8 on the station. So do have a great day and have a wonderful week.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gan-an? story, listen attentively, no be small thing. Oh, Jack around in Nigbanyo, Taman no suku, Tico so walk, what to Sonya. Baba me be a juggy gun, you make me a juggy gun. I'm a Tony Baba, Tony Mama, lower lower. As of when you know why you and you know wow. Want to do a gary, profit is in oh, damn it, load my day barrio. Afodano, they me talk about your palo, Taji over, only born. Titi, you let me, you're my junior, Taji over, shame.